before we launched our new website, we moved from our crappy Squarespace site to a very beautiful Shopify site. We knew that we were going to move into this period of tremendous growth. We started making more pots. We hired a few more people. We knew that we were going to eventually lower our prices. And so we made the financially very unwise decision to arbitrarily lower our prices to the price that we wanted to eventually sell them at, even though it was way below the cost of actually making the pots. And so in 2017, we basically slashed our prices by 30% because we forecasted that by that time next year, that's how much we were going to be selling them for or being able to charge for them. And at that time, we didn't want to acquire a bunch of new customers at a higher price point and then change pricing on them. This was Alex's idea. I think he maybe would have, like, in retrospect, like said, yeah, we probably could have just like kept selling them for a lot more money, and instead of getting ourselves into this position where now we have, demand that outstrips our supply tenfold. I think even still, like, we have 2 colors that we've launched this year, and we did an upcharge of 10% on them to raise money for different area nonprofits, and they sold at exactly the same rate as the pots that are 10% less expensive. Pricing it's really complicated, and I think that we thought that we couldn't lower them. Yeah, we thought that people weren't going to spend $62 on a dinner plate, so we needed to bring it down to $42. That like right then and there. And I think that we would have seen a lot slower growth. If you're able to sell things at a higher price and it's like allowing you to grow slowly, then there's no reason to lower your prices just so that you can attract a larger audience if your business doesn't actually need that. Labor is definitely, 80% of that pot is labor, the cost of it. Now that we've been doing this for a while, we have a pretty clear idea of how many hours goes into making every single pot, basically just like an equation of labor hours to finished goods. And we know how much that's going to be affected by if we bring on new team members. We usually see like a 30% decrease in productivity in the first 3 months of onboarding new teammates as they learn how to make the pieces. And we see that, really quickly change after about 3 months when they've been here for a while and they know how to do things. Our leadership in production spends a lot of time thinking about just direct labor hours to finished goods. There's some products that are a lot more labor intensive that we deprioritize in our marketing strategy because we know that it's going to take a lot longer and take a lot more money in order to reach the same revenue value as something else. Like a mug now used to cost a lot more to make. Now we have a new machine. It cuts the costs in half, and we can now safely market mugs without dramatically affecting our bottom line. So if you're making a big assortment of products, it's really important to know which of those products can you really lean heavily on and grow your market on and really put in front of a lot of eyeballs, because it's going to carry the weight of some of the products that might cost a little bit more to make, but that you still really love and you want to be able to offer. Yeah, it's really wild how some people can just automatically assume that something that's more expensive is higher value or it's a better quality product. There's a lot of really bad pottery that you can buy for a lot of money out there, but it's, beauty and value are in the eye of the beholder, really. And I am not an expert on the science of pricing by any means, but what I found is that there's going to be a market for most things, and a lot of people it's going to be hard to convince someone who's only ever bought a plate for $3 that now they should buy a plate for $42. But we see it happening all the time. We see people who have never purchased dinnerware outside of IKEA or Walmart who are all of a sudden convinced through storytelling that they should invest in our product. So it's possible, but you're going to have to, if you're asking someone, if you're making a product that exists already in the world at a much lower price point, that's where you're really going to have to figure out, how do I tell the story that's going to convince someone that they need to make this big jump. There's all sorts of craft products that don't have a comparable product that's factory made or that's mass produced, that you could have something that everything else that is comparable is also $600. But we make a product, again, that you can easily find for 1/16 of the price. So that's going to be different for everyone too.